So what's the outlook now for another area, big tech? We've seen some weakness, right? Hilary Kramer is with us, founder, chief investment officer, Kramer Capital Research, to break it all down for us. It's been quite volatile. I mean, tech was the darling, and the last few weeks we've seen a lot of volatility. For example, today the Dow hits new highs, but the Nasdaq's down.
Well, Nicole, first of all, International Women's Day. I love that you're honoring it, and it's great to be on. In terms of now I'll go right to the market. NASDAQ, totally still overextended. Don't try to catch a falling knife here. I do think that Apple recover. Apple's a great play right now to do some options in. Anyone who wants to play, it's 117. It could bounce back to 119. It's be really, really great short term. But over the long term, there's a clear rotation that's taken place. And even if we have some variant that occurs with COVID-19, there's just such a sense of, right, the market hates insecurity. There's a sense that we can handle it. We know what we need to do. And that's why the rotation has gone into the financials, engineering and infrastructure, of course, because, we have a Biden White House. There are so many companies that you want to be in. I've always talked about Ingredion, that's the old corn products. One of the first Dow, it was a part of the first Dow companies. And that's everything, that's your sugars, your starches. And Ingredion had a real hiccup here because of their food service business. And then there was no food service needed at the stadiums. But Ingredion is in almost every product that we use. And has a dividend yield. Companies like that will keep going up. There are companies like Big Lots, BIG. It was a $10 stock last March, and now we're near $70, but it could still go to $100 because we're going to see that race, right? Because we have so many people who are trading and investing. We could see these companies that were value trapped, so to speak, really keep catching a bid and could have 20 or 30% more upside.
I see. So I know that you have different sectors and stocks you liked. You mentioned Apple. I know Microsoft was something you're watching. That's pulling back a little bit today with the rest of the FANG group for the most part. Also, Bristol Myers, SNY, some of the utilities. What do you think is a best bet?
Well, on my Bristol Myers BMY, Bristol Myers has been dead in the water pretty much. I mean, okay, sure, it's tripled in 20 years, but that's nothing in comparison to what everything else has done. Certainly, Bristol Myers, with their pipeline, could go from the $60 range to $100 within the next 6 months. This is going to be their time. We also still like Sanofi, excellent in terms of vaccines. They're going to be, front and center in the global vaccination market. They're already in it with everything from tuberculosis to malaria. We also, I think that Microsoft will come back, even though it's part of the big tech. But Microsoft is so popular now, doing so well, especially with their gaming business. And they really have only retraced because of this 65,000 people. There was the data breach. And that's really spooked so many because Microsoft shouldn't have had any kind of data breach, but it's still a company that could certainly go a lot higher from here. But we also think that some of the restaurant chains, that consolidation that's taken place, yes, Ruby Tuesdays is gone, and it's so sad for me to see that. But, we're going to see companies like Texas Roadhouse, which has tripled since last March. Texas Roadhouse, the right price point, in indoor casual dining, line dancing by the waitresses and waiters, butchers.
Right, a lot of fun.
So that's where you want to be. Those kind of companies that are post-pandemic and that have been out of style for the last 2 years.
I also wanted to pick your brain on the electric vehicle space because it seems so many companies are trying to get in. I'm not sure that they're all going to survive. Tesla's certainly been a leader. Do you have a favorite in the EV space?
There's a reason why Ford and GM keep moving upwards and they keep going higher. At the same time, yes, I love those players like the Fiskars, FSR, Microvision you can grab here. It's down 50% in the last 10 trading days. These are all the companies that have this LiDAR technology, which is like holographic, so to speak, or you've heard of heads-up display. That's really very much the future with electric vehicles. And as long as oil is $70 a barrel, it's like this relationship. It's just so obvious. Green tech, clean energy is hot the minute oil goes to $70 a barrel. So I am also happy to see like an ExxonMobil, XOM, but that's because so many people have lost money or have missed opportunities being in it, that I'm glad it's hitting 52-week highs. But I think it's going to be the traditional players, the GM, Ford, that are going to really be the winners in the end in this space, because they have the distribution. Ultimately, I'm very, Tesla has, they've first mover advantage, but there's no way they would have to sell more cars in a year than are sold globally in order to justify their valuation. That doesn't mean it's not a great trading
so that's why you
stock.
mentioned some of the others. Sure.
Right.
And finally, obviously, you mentioned it right at the top, International Women's Day. So I'd like to say congratulations to you, Hilary. Clearly a leader, successful in your own right in the world of finance and everything else you do. And so I think it'd be very appropriate for you to maybe give a thought to women or girls who may want to be starting their careers. And it could be for any young person too, right? Advice?
My advice, find a mentor. Find a mentor, and a mentor is someone that you can help and help them advance, and then they can help you. It's that symbiotic relationship. You're nowhere without it. And the world has the world seems to have advanced so much in terms of CFOs and CEOs, but at the same time, I know that women are struggling, and that women take care of the house, the home, and they're out there trying to earn a living, and it's all stacked against them. And I am like here to support everyone all the time. But, remember, at the same time, we have a long way to go. It's really exciting. We have days like this, and we will ultimately make it. And that there are those bright spots. 20 years ago, a billionaire, 25 years ago, a billionaire gave me a chance, a Latin American billionaire, to manage $5 billion. He said, I know you can do it. And we're going to see more and more of that take place, because women can be better investors. I'll argue that any day of the week, because we can multitask, and because we take consensus. We don't just decide that, Tesla's going to keep going up, or that Amazon is never going to go up. I know someone who's been shorting Tesla for the last 10 years and almost brought one of the greatest hedge fund managers in the world down because he was too smart. He was so smart. No, we know what we're doing. Right, Nicole?
All right. Well, I certainly would like to promote women in this moment. And I think that, I think you make a great point about having a mentor, and that's good advice for everyone. And have some reciprocity, right? You help them, they'll help you learn as well. Hilary, thanks so much. Hilary Kramer, founder, Chief Investment Officer, Kramer Capital Research. Thanks.